Alright, so you guys have probably seen a lot of these floating around on the internet, and today I thought we could do a little video where I talk about the reason this is on your screen right now. I know that so many of you are already done. You're already, that's my thumbnail. Why did I, no, wait. Press Control and use the scroll wheel to zoom. Okay, so many of you are already going to be upset about this. Fair enough. You have every right to be upset. But let's talk about it. Let me justify it. And again, some of you might think there's no justifying this. You've already fucked up. Fair enough. But let's just talk about this. Let's just be civil. Alright, so starting off with down here, which is what a lot of you guys are going to be the most mad about. We got this stuff. Let me explain. A lot of you guys already know how I feel about Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 3 is a fine game, except for how they handled everything post-launch. I think that was all terrible. I also think that the multiplayer maps and repetitiveness of the game just lends me to not liking it. And that's unfortunate, because it's like the game didn't really do anything wrong. It doesn't deserve that, but at the same time, I can't think of anything it did incredibly right either. It took a gamble on the specialist system, and I think it did it okay for its first go. We'll get to that later and why this is up here. But I don't think about anything positive when I think about Black Ops 3. This is a game that I got to max prestige level 200 something, maybe 300 something. I got Dark Matter, and, so I played a lot of it, but I can't think of very many positive things to say about old Black Ops 3 here. Again, the multiplayer maps were repetitive, the flow of each game was roughly the same, and as much as I did have fun for some while, the game just never treated me right. And this is to say nothing, of course, of its terrible campaign. I think Black Ops 3's campaign goes down as the worst single-player FPS experience I've ever had. I don't care if it's dramatic. That's my opinion. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. World at War. World at War is a special game to me. I actually have a lot of nostalgia for World at War. I played it on PS2 and Xbox 360. But you know what? I hate the damn thing. And I want to love it, but I feel like its campaign never did anything really unexpected. It never subverted expectations. It was just like a World War II campaign without any of the charm or intrigue of like an older World War II game. Because in games like Medal of Honor or COD 2 or COD 3, I don't know, they're so old and they had so many little quirks about them that I can like let go some of the, repetitive whatever nature of the game. I can't do that with Call of Duty World at War. I just fucking can't. It used the exact same engine as Call of Duty 4. It just felt like a reskin of COD 4, but with World War II. I don't really care about any of the characters except for Reznov. There we go. Okay, so when it comes to World at War, I don't think World at War is a bad game, and in fact, I love so many parts of the campaign, mostly the Russian stuff. Anything to do with Stalingrad and the Russians and Reznov, that was awesome. Everything else was kind of bog standard. It kind of bored me to tears, unfortunately, and I wish I didn't have to say that, but it kind of did. There were some great missions and great little moments, but nothing that stands out to me as, oh, I need to replay that campaign. Maybe I will on stream one day, and just so I can, talk to people live about what I don't like about it, but I don't think it's bad. And then when it comes to zombies, I don't think zombies was bad either. In fact, there's a reason that this guy's up here, but we'll get to that. I love World at War zombies, and in fact, I might bump this up to C, maybe even B, because those good campaign moments and zombies really are great, but what stains this game for me, as a Call of Duty multiplayer fan, the multiplayer was broken and hacked to shit from day one. My friends wouldn't play it back in the day, back before I even had a 360 and my friends just had it. They would complain about it. So many YouTubers will tell you the same story. I have no nostalgia for this game's multiplayer. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good even when it's not hacked, but it's hacked to shit. If you don't want to count the developer support when it comes to the quality of the game, okay, I guess I can do that. But then again, even if it's not hacked to shit, I just don't think it's a good multiplayer. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it's as cool as COD 4 was, because after Call of Duty 4, World at War just kind of seems boring, bog standard, and there's a reason COD didn't go back to World War II until here, and I think we should leave this alone. Zombies were creepy. I like creepy zombies more than puzzly zombies. I like creepy zombies. The campaign had some great moments. And hell, Black Ops 3 was fun to grind with my friends, but they sit in this area where I just don't want to play either of them. I have had no desire to play them. Like zero. Like zero desire. At all. And so that's why they're there. They're not bad, but I don't like them. Call of Duty World War II and Black Ops 4. Okay, why is Black Ops 4 above World at War, Boom? Okay. Or Black Ops 3 for that matter. I'll tell you why. These games are in C because they are the counter opposites of each other, but they both are very similar. What I mean by that is that they are both overcorrections. COD World War II tried so hard to return to form that it became this boring, lukewarm cup of milk that just never thrilled me at any point through its life cycle. I could never get into it. With friends, without friends, streaming it, not streaming it, doing well, not doing well. It was just boring as shit. I couldn't make my own fun in it. I didn't want to customize my classes. I didn't want to prestige. I didn't want to level up. It just felt like a stab in the face, and I hated it because it was boring. Not because it was bad. It was just boring. It's a stab in the face, but it's only boring. I don't know. That's how I feel. So, Black Ops 4, I think, is an overcorrection in the other way, where it's trying so hard to be different. You know, ditch the campaign and make the multiplayer like this. And although I think manual health regen and the slightly longer time to kill, it's not Halo, guys. You guys are so dramatic about that. I think it's good in some respects. When it tried to be interesting, like, in some cases it worked, and in other cases it didn't, and that's proven by the bare bones mode. I love the bare bones mode. And that tells me that this game was not that far away from being a really good Call of Duty, and then they just piled a bunch of unnecessary shit onto it, and I just don't get it. It's like nobody play tested the damn multiplayer. Zombies I haven't even touched in Black Ops 4. I'm just not a zombies guy. And when it comes to Blackout, God, I just wish Blackout was a fucking like 40 versus 40 respawn loadout creation like Call of Duty game. Like basically take that giant map and don't just try to do generic battle royale shit with it. Like you could actually make a really cool multiplayer mode with vehicles and shit. It's like, okay, first team to 200 kills wins, 40 versus 40, and big map and vehicles, and you could like customize your classes and your character. That would have been so fucking cool. And because there's so many gadgets and things, but it's just generic battle royale. And you guys know me, I don't like battle royale. I don't like that formula. So these are not good games or better than these. These are just, they're the same. I think of them the same. Just, you know, this one tried so hard to return to form, and this one tried so hard to be new that, you know, this one got rid of some of the reasons I like Call of Duty, and this one also didn't realize the reasons a lot of people like Call of Duty, and it sucks. Okay, so now we get into the juicy shit. This is what I want to talk about right here. Okay, this is good. We have Modern Warfare 3, Advanced Warfare, and Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. Where do I start? I've gotten a lot of shit on Twitter for having COD 4 this low, but I'll explain. We'll go actually this way to this way. So I don't think Modern Warfare 3 is a bad game. I actually think Modern Warfare 3 is pretty damn fun. And I've made that pretty clear on my channel. I made a whole video complaining that... Don't throw up on camera. Sorry. I made a whole video talking about how much I wish I could play Modern Warfare 3 more. But I don't think it's an objectively good Call of Duty. I don't think its campaign is as interesting as some other campaigns, and even Modern Warfare 2's. I don't think its multiplayer innovated in any interesting way, and I hate just about every multiplayer map, aside from about 3. And really just the overall aesthetics and just lack of, like, inventiveness, was that the word? The lack of innovation really pushes me to, like, it pushes it down to here. Now, I liked its special ops mode, and I liked its survival mode, and its multiplayer was a hell of a lot of fun, but aside from nostalgia, I honestly, like, as a video game, not as a video game I used to play as a kid, as a younger kid, as a video game, I really just can't recommend this to anyone. It's just like, it's not that interesting. Advanced Warfare is very interesting, but I don't think it's good. I think a lot of you would agree with me. It's really interesting, but it's not great. The reason it's here, though, is how much I love its campaign. I loved the whole story. I loved the graphical presentation, the music. I just loved playing through its campaign. And its zombies were... Let's not talk about that. It's not terrible, but again, I'm just not a zombies guy, I guess. But its multiplayer, it was so close to being good. And honestly, I think what would have saved it is larger maps. And the reason I say that, I have some evidence. If you play the DLCs for Advanced Warfare, you'll notice the maps are actually quite a bit bigger. Like a lot of the DLC maps, like Kremlin and the Clown Hotel map. And God, there's one more. Oh, there's like a big crash, like spaceship map or something. I thought those maps played a lot better. Anything that was like wider and more open and just larger, I think played great. Anything that was smaller just played like shit. The movement was too fast and too spammy, and a lot of the guns and a lot of the explosives and shit were too spammy for tight quarters. But I did like the larger maps with that game. So I feel like it was really close, and it tried a lot of new things. It was like the first like real innovation in COD we had seen in a very long time. And we'll get to that later. But COD 4 is here because I don't think COD 4 is a bad game. That's why it's in B class. It's definitely a little bit more than passing. I think COD 4 is a solid FPS game, but I don't think that it inspires greatness anymore. And I'm not gonna like throw it up high on the list because, oh, I loved playing it as a kid. Like, no, the balance in the multiplayer was not great. A lot of the maps in the multiplayer were not built properly. You know, just objectively. Like, not looking at it as, oh, what it was back then, but just objectively, the maps weren't built properly for the speed of the players and the time to kill sometimes. It just felt wrong. Like, some maps stand out as really fun, but others just, I feel like they fell completely short. And the campaign was great. And that's the big reason it's here. It's like 2/3 campaign, 1/3 MP is why it's up here. And I honestly think if it didn't have a great campaign, it would be down here. I don't think this game objectively anymore is that interesting. So yeah, this didn't really innovate a lot. It kind of feels a little stale. This tried a lot of new things, and I commend it for that. And this is a solid shooter, but I don't think it's exceptional. Now, here is where people are going to start like agreeing with me and disagreeing with me. Black Ops 2, I think, is an incredibly solid experience. Is it that interesting? Is it fascinating? Is it, whoa, so innovative? In a lot of ways, no. In some ways, yes. It had cool gadgets. It had cool pieces of equipment we've never seen in COD before. It had some cool mechanics like score streaks and the Pick 10 system, which I think are great. And I genuinely think it's like a solid Call of Duty. It's just, it's what I think of when I think of COD, unfortunately, because I don't think it's that amazing. But it did such a good job. Even though I don't think it's that, like, variety-filled and fascinating, I do think it's, like, that's, like, a standard. Like, in my opinion, Black Ops 2 is, like, a standard. It's so clean-cut. It has just enough of this, like, gameplay and gunplay variety in terms of, like, where you fight and what kind of play styles you can adopt and all that. It's not just run and gun. It's not just breakneck or rushing gameplay all the time. It is actually, like, a pretty good game, and I appreciate the hell out of it for that. Black Ops 2, again, it's what I think of when I think of a good Call of Duty game. Like, here's Call of Duty, here's the baseline of what a good COD game is. Anything that goes below it is a little disappointing. Anything above it is, of course, expected or appreciated, and I don't feel like that's crazy to say. I don't feel like it did anything so amazing that I'm going to get out of my chair and dance for it. Some people, I think, way overhype it, but I just think it's solid. Zombies were fun. I enjoyed the zombies. Let's just say let's just leave it at that. I enjoyed the zombies, so that's one of the reasons it's up here. But the campaign was great. The creative class in the campaign, exceptional. I love the story. I love the multiple endings. I played through it like 3 times, and I loved every minute of it. The beginning's a little bit rough, but some of those later missions, they're so cinematic and great, and I cared about all the characters because of this game up here. We'll talk about that soon. So I think the campaign, the zombies, and the multiplayer are just all so solid and replayable that it deserves the spot. Even though I don't think it's as amazing as other people do, when I think about it, I just think, hey, that's a solid fucking COD game. So There it is. There it sits. Okay. Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, I'll admit, I'm a little bit biased here. Call of Duty Ghosts was the first Call of Duty game I actually went to the midnight reveal of. That's why I have a Call of Duty Ghosts poster right there. So I think Call of Duty Ghosts is a fun game. I really do like it. I think its campaign is its actually weakest point. I think Extinction, I think Survival, I think the multiplayer are just, they're so good in so many ways that, and it's sad because the game is like aesthetic presentation was so bad that it's almost hard to recommend it to somebody, because I know like if they had never played it before, they'd look at it and go, this is ugly. Especially if they're playing it on console, because they're playing like a 720p 1000p game, depending on what platform they're on, and they're just gonna be like, this is fuzzy, it's gray, the lighting sucks, and blah. Not every map. I think some maps actually had really good color grading, lighting, and effects on them, mostly the DLC maps, but yes, the stock game is very drab to look at, and the contrast levels are everywhere. It's aesthetically so displeasing, but gameplay-wise, I think it delivers what games like this and this delivered, and what this delivered and this delivered, but with like a new flavor. The new Create a Class system took into account that everything needs to have its own point value, because not everything's worth 1 point. That's a little ridiculous to assume that everything should be worth 1 point. Oh sure, the red dot sight and the rocket launcher, steady aim and infinite sprint, those are all the same. Its Create a Class system took those into account. Its interactable environments, although not groundbreaking, everyone just compared them to Battlefield, but if you look at them as, if you look at them in a vacuum, like where Battlefield doesn't exist, it's something that adds a little bit of interactability into a series that up until then hadn't had that much. Like, this was the first, we'll get to this soon, but Call of Duty Ghosts really, throw my RGB remote, really gave me that feeling that Black Ops 1 did. The ability to close a gate, or bust open a wall, or knock down a gas station. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was new. They were trying out something, and I thought that was fun. There's lots of little secrets in the maps, lots of little cool corridors and lines of sight. You can climb a drainage pipe on the flooding map. There's lots of cool shit, and if you've never played it, I feel bad for you. Start a new recording here because I've been talking for a while. Ghosts did a really good job of innovating in subtle ways, like little ways here and there, and I appreciate the hell out of it for that. It didn't overhaul the whole game, it didn't try to sell you on something that it wasn't, it really did just deliver Call of Duty for Call of Duty's sake, but with a lot of little ideas thrown in, lots of little innovations, lots of little features that I appreciate to this day. Infinite Warfare. I did a whole video about this just recently, like it'll have been up like the day before this, so I'm not gonna talk too much about this. But really, this game made me feel like a valued player. It constantly tried to keep people coming back. It knew that it was the right game at the wrong time. It knew that coming out after this game and this game, it knew that it was stacked because people were tired of futuristic games, and even I was. And I told you guys that I'm still a little bit fatigued on that type of multiplayer. And it's why I never fully prestiged it. But god damn if it didn't try its hardest. God damn if it didn't actually please me as someone that paid money for it. I thought Infinite Warfare was a great game. Not because it did things we had never seen before, although it did. Not because of that. Because it just treated me well. And I made a whole video about it. I don't want to get into it here because I've talked so much about it in the last 2 days while recording and writing a whole script for it and everything. Which, by the way, the script in that video where I talk about Infinite Warfare, that's a Sonic fan fiction. I'm not going to show you guys my scripts, then you guys will know I don't know how to write. So we'll talk, you can go watch that video, but there's a lot of reasons I think Infinite Warfare is a good Call of Duty. And for its campaign, let me talk about the campaign. The campaign was great. I don't care about zombies. The campaign was fundamentally, almost objectively great. I love the pacing. I love the mission structure. I like that there were side missions. The aerial combat, or I guess the spaceship combat, was great. Aerial combat's fine. It was great. It was all just good. And these words. Okay, so enough about that. We've talked about that enough on this damn channel. Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2. Amazing stories that subvert expectations the first time you play them and give you lots of fun moments when you replay them. Great side modes to keep you occupied for hours, and a multiplayer that lets you really play however you want to play. You tailor your loadout to how you want to play, and you can adopt that playstyle. The maps allow it without being too skewed in one direction or the other. And just a shit ton of good memories. That maybe that's anticlimactic for the end of this video, but that's how I think of these games. Are these games perfectly balanced? No. Are these games the most fun to play all the time? No. But they let you play how you want. There's big maps and small maps. There's great side modes that you and your friends can play, and the campaigns have great stories that grip people and have great characters in them. They're just so good. Like, when I think of Call of Duty, I told you guys, I think of Black Ops 2 because Black Ops 2 is just solid. But when I think of a great Call of Duty, I think of Infinite Warfare. Fuck you guys. No, but Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, those are my favorites. I've made videos about it. Go watch them. They'll be on my channel. Probably linked in the comment section if I remember to do that. Anyway, see you when I see you.
Welcome to the Bloody First. You're a long way from Texas, farm boy.